Welcome back to the Real Estate 401k show. I'm your host, Mike Weinstein, alongside Ryan Gerdes, all the way at the end of the table. And in the middle is Justin Frederick from the Frederick team at Fairway Independent Mortgage. You're going to want to text, if you are thinking about selling your home, you're going to want to text the word open to 623-AZ-RECON. That's open to 623-AZ-RECON. It's really funny because as a real estate agent, real estate wealth manager, at the end of the day, we're realtors, not you, Justin. But Ryan and I, Ryan, you and I, back in the day, we made a living on doing open houses. Mm-hmm. And we would go out there and we'd put out all of our signs and hope people come in and have conversations and things like that. But when other people are doing open houses in my neighborhood and there's signs out there every day, it just drives me nuts. It's like the political season where I got all those politician signs, up and down the street.
Especially if it's an open house next to your listing, you're like, yeah, you don't want the spotlight to go off of your listing over.
Well, then you do a hot dog cart,
right?
And,
you steal traffic.
One upper.
But I'm saying when you're first starting off, like everything is like so important and so fragile and whatnot. So, but yeah, anyhow, go ahead.
All right. So when somebody goes to list their house, one of the common conversations that they have with their real estate agent is the topic of open houses. I work with sellers who go, I need to have you do open houses, and they may not understand the pros and the cons and whether open houses are effective or not effective. And oftentimes we have sellers say, I don't want anyone coming into my house, and we have to have that same conversation. And so the question really is, are open houses worth it? Should sellers have their agents do open houses? And I will kind of elaborate on my answer, but my initial answer before I turn it over to you is it just depends.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that, so I'm going to give you my opinion last. I'm going to give you something that's been happening in the market for a few years that could potentially prove that I'm wrong. And that is Open Door. What they do is they advertise that their properties are at an open house 24/7. Because at 11 o'clock at night, you can go over there and download their app and gain access to the property and go in and look at it whenever you want. Mm-hmm. And I think that there's been some traction on that. I think that's really nice to be able to have that option. What you need to understand is that every single one of the homes that Open Door advertises, they're all vacant, right? They're all
That's a good point.
All owned by Open Door, and so they put in all the security. They're empty of any personal effects, and in order to download their app, you need to give them some information. So they're kind of doing somewhat of a vetting process. I do think in applications like that, they're extremely valid. Like if every single one of our listings that was vacant, we did something like that, I think that would be extremely effective. But it's because it's 24/7. It's around the clock. Whereas a home that's occupied, where it's open from noon to 5 on a Saturday, yeah, we can advertise, and it's going to go through all those different platforms, Zillow, Redfin, and et cetera, and it will get caught. If someone's interested in open houses, they will get a notification that, hey, a home in your neighborhood is going to be open from noon to 5 on Saturday. All of that being said, I have never once in my career, and I've held hundreds, maybe close to 1,000 open houses, particularly in the first probably 10 years of my career. I mean, it was open houses. And never once could I directly correlate an open house to a transaction of that specific home. So never once. So they might have said, hey, look, we've been eyeballing this, and we're going to go look at it anyhow with our agent, but we see that it's open, so we thought that we'd drop by. They would still turn around and go revisit it with their agent, and if a transaction was procured because of that, that's happened before many times. But it's never been hey, we just thought we'd drive through this neighborhood randomly. Yeah. We have no idea what we're walking into, and we just thought, oh, hey, it's kind of cool. Let's go check this out. Oh, hey, coincidentally, the price works for us, the floor plan works for us, the colors work for us, the everything, all the amenities work for us. It just never has ever worked that way. And even more so now that technology has been so involved that it's so easy to pull up to any home with a sign and just pop in the address, and you have the entire history along with the current listing information on it right there. And then they make their decision probably within 5 seconds as to whether or not they're even interested in looking at it. And we've gotten a lot of data that says, they're only looking at these things for just under 3 seconds. Like, that's how much time you have. And so open houses, the best thing that you're going to do is meet the neighbors, right? And us as real estate professionals, we love that because that drums up more business for us. And so that's my overall take on it.
Yeah, and I think it's a fair point. I think people need to understand, and real estate agents listening to this podcast are going to hate us, but it is what it is. We've been doing this for 22 plus years each. We've mentored, coached, trained, thousands of agents, if not, tens of thousands of agents in our lifetime. We're trained as agents. One of the best things that you can do to meet new potential buyers or sellers is sit open houses, because to your point, the statistics, and I meant to look at it before we jumped in the studio, the actual stat of how many homes being held open actually closed because of that open house, and I meant to do it. But it's a very minimal number. Dwindling. We are trained as agents, hey, especially when we're brand new, go sit an open house and meet some buyers and go help them buy a house and meet the neighbors. But where I think they become effective, and this is my message to everybody listening, if you are going to list your home with somebody and you're going to have that agent do open houses, you have to ask them, what is your open house system? What is the process? What are you doing to get my house maximum exposure? Just throwing out a couple signs an hour beforehand on the curbs and the corners, that's not getting maximum exposure. So what are you doing to market this open house? What are you doing to get people here? Because the more people come, the higher the chance that somebody might actually buy the house. But to your point, Ryan, it is all about the neighbors. I have found where I've had the most success with open houses, and I've sold a couple houses that I was holding open that actually sold to people. But it wasn't somebody necessarily coming into the open house. I was having the open house. I was walking the neighborhood. I was talking to the neighbors and asking them questions like, who in your family or who do you know is looking to buy a house and you would like to have them near you and in your neighborhood? And oftentimes, my family's thinking about moving out here from Omaha, Nebraska, and I would love for them to live in my neighborhood and so forth. So not that person from Omaha, Nebraska hopped on a plane and landed and walked through my open house, but because I had the open house, I was able to communicate with the neighbors, invite the neighbors to come actually see the house, and then communicate back to their family and friends.
Sure, yeah.
But I just want to say, but it comes down to systems.
I know that it totally has happened before, and I've done a ton of business with people that have walked into these open houses, just never that specific person with that specific property. Done neighbors' homes, because it just never worked out for me. But who knows? Maybe I just suck at them.
Well, maybe you do. So my point is, I think they are valid, and I think if you are thinking about selling your home, we want you to text the word open to 623-AZ-RECON, because we'll walk you through our systems. We'll walk you specifically what our objectives, what the goals are. We will manage your expectations, but we'll show you how we're going to get maximum exposure and how we can help an open house increase the possibility of selling that house. Because again, the more people to walk in, the better. And if you'd like to have that information and have that consultation, all you got to do is text the word open to 623-AZ-RECON. That's open to 623-AZ-RECON. I know you, Justin, as a lender, you get asked to sit open houses all the time. I still would love one day, and it will just throw that out there. If anyone's listening to this podcast and they have us list their house, the three of us are going to go sit and do an open house together, dude. And you're going to want to be there, dude. It's going to be It's going to be an amazing time. It will be more than a hot dog cart.
For sure. It'll be entertaining.
Well, you're going to tell me that wouldn't be fun, right?
It would be fun. Yes, it would be fun.
I don't know if it'd be effective, but I think it would be.
I think the people walking in there would be like, like, what's going on
Was it
here?
the
Like,
Three
did I-
Stooges here?
Yeah, did I walk in on like a frat party or something? Jesus.
Can we bring a keg? Just
Duh.
Duh.
What's your perception as a
I mean,
consumer?
First of all, I love when you guys do open houses too, because I get contacts typically from that, and I get to make relationships. But as a consumer, when I've ever seen open house signs, and
you ever gone into one?
I have.
Okay.
But I'm not. I get dragged into them by my wife. Okay. It's not something that I'm wanting to go see. And then typically I walk in and I'm like, what are we doing here? This is not an area that we would ever want to be in, or maybe it is an area that we want to be in, and this is a smaller home, so why are we wasting our time here? Or maybe this home's too big for us. Or my wife just likes to look at models, houses, see other people's ideas, and I feel like you get a lot of that type of traffic. Just people wanting to get ideas, see what a house looks like, see all the stuff. Not necessarily are out looking to buy homes.
Yeah, I just feel like like for the actual benefit of the property itself, it's either open or it's not, right? And so if it's only open noon to 5 on a Saturday, I just don't feel like it's that effective. Whereas like new home builds and going back to like the open door example, that at any given time from like whatever o'clock to whatever o'clock every single day, you can get in there and check it out, right? I just feel like that's the differentiating factor.
Yeah, and I think we can all agree, and I think we've really just hammered the point. I think consumers, sellers need to understand that open houses can be effective. When you're interviewing your agent, you've got to really, if they want to do open houses or you want them to do open houses, it's really important to ask what their process is, what their system is, how are they going to maximize exposure. Just putting signs up is not enough. And you should find that out before you open your home and allow just strangers to come into the home. Now, or I want to take it because obviously Ryan has made it very clear. I don't think there's any confusion right now.
Okay.
Any confusion as to your opinion of the effectiveness on open houses. So I think we're pretty clear. I think a lot of sellers get caught up in that's what I need. That's what's going to sell my house. A lot of agents get caught up in this is how we're going to market your house. This is what we're going to do. And I think we've established the reality that of really that philosophy and that strategies. So let's take it the next step. What is truly going to sell your house, and why having somebody who's experienced at selling your house and knows how to truly market, what's really going to sell the house. For sellers who are so caught up on open houses, get that out of your head. We'll do them, but what's really going to sell the house?
I always stick with the three main components of what you can control. You can't control what interest rates are doing. You can't control who's in or out of the market at that time for your specific property. What you can control, number one, is pricing. You can control marketability / showability, right? And then you can control availability. So pricing, kind of self-explanatory. Marketability / showability, it's how well prepared are you for people to come in there, and
what does it look like?
What does it look like?
Professional pictures.
Yeah, exactly. So is it getting pushed out to all the platforms? Because the beauty of it is, on our side, for the most part, the marketing element has been super capitalized. So it's Homes.com, Zillow, Redfin. Everyone's going to go to their phone and download their favorite app on their phone, or go to their favorite website, or whatever, and then they're going to look for homes in that area, right? And so, of course, we have our own app, but it's all centrally located off the multiple listings service, and we're pulling information off of that. All these other websites and whatnot, they're doing the same exact thing. So they're pulling it from the central database and then pushing it out. So let's just be honest about it, right? And then we all know that. I mean, I don't even know what the number is anymore, because it's got to be in like the upper 98th percentile of how people shop, and it is online. first thing they're going to do is they're going to go there and they're going to type in a zip code or type in a school district or type in a city or whatever, and then they're going to start narrowing the filters down by cost, size, square footage, how many bedrooms it has, does it have a pool, whatever amenities that they need to have on it there. So the marketing element, pushing it out there, is relatively easy. We have all of that stuff automated, right? And so from there, it's coaching you on what it needs to look like, what that marketability and what that showability is going to maximize, and how that's going to translate on pictures, right? So that when that first impression, when they click on it, they say, oh, you know what? It checks all the immediate boxes. I want to go over there and look deeper into this, or possibly go look at it, right? So we're going to help walk you through, the decluttering and depersonalizing and the right colors in order to kind of touch those emotional boxes on potential buyers, and showcasing the highlights of the property. And then from there, it's staying on top of those people that are reaching out on it. And then as far as availability goes, make sure you're ready to show the damn thing. Like if you're a seller, be a seller. I can't stand it when I reach out to people and I'm like, hey, we want to go look at it tomorrow at 3:00. It shows here on the calendar that it's available. And they say, oh, you know what? That's not going to work. We don't know what to do with the dogs at that time. And it's like, you knew that your home was for sale. You raised your hand and said that you're a seller, and I'm giving you 24 hours heads up, and you can't figure it out. Like that is the type of stuff that is just going to,
especially in the first couple weeks.
Oh, dude, it happens all of the time.
Gosh.
So if you're a seller, be a seller.
Be ready.
Be ready. Like if someone knocks on the door and says, "Hey, look, I know you're not ready for us, but if we gave you 15 minutes." Oh, absolutely. Get your stuff together, because that's the retail side of things, and that's where you're going to.
It'd be like going to the grocery store, and you would have to guess. Hey, today they're closed between 3 and 5 because they're mopping the floors, and tomorrow they're closed between 9 and 11.
Yeah, one of the baggers got the sniffles. Whatever. Like if you're a seller, be a seller. Be accommodating to the fact and be empathetic to the fact of how you felt and how you behaved when you were a buyer. And so a lot of that stuff is, if you're setting back, then it all of a sudden becomes common sense. Practice that common sense, and you're going to run into a good, ready, willing, and able buyer that's wanting to pay you what you're asking, because you priced it right, you had it show ready, and you're ready to go as a seller as quickly as possible.
All right, if you are thinking about and looking at selling your home, you want to make sure that you do it right. Avoid some of the common mistakes, because you got a small window of opportunity, especially when that house goes on the market. Would love to walk you through those strategies. All you got to do is text the word OPEN to 623-AZ-RECON. That's OPEN to 623-AZ-RECON, and we'll get in touch with you. I love the fact, Ryan, that you brought up pictures. I'll get sellers that will call me and go, okay, well, how many open houses did you do? What's going on at the open houses? And they're so consumed with the open houses. And then I'll get sellers who will call me and say, hey, I don't like this picture and I don't like that picture. I love that seller because they get it. The pictures are everything. And if I'm a seller, the things that sellers ask us and don't ask us when we sit down is sometimes mind-boggling. If I'm a seller, my advice to sellers, when you're interviewing somebody, ask them about the pictures. Who's doing the pictures? Are you using your iPhone? Are you hiring a professional photography? Show me 3 listings right now of previous listings or current listings of yours. Send me the links so I can see the pictures. Because to your point, everything that you see, whether Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, everything comes from the same hub. And that's the hub that we as real estate agents upload the information and upload the pictures. The pictures aren't going to be different on Zillow as they, different from what's on Realtor.com and what's on Redfin. They're going to all be the same pictures. And I am telling you, people make decisions based on the pictures. That's the questions you have to ask, not how many open houses are you doing.
Agreed, man. And so having somebody that's going to have those conversations with you is is probably like you said, the best thing that you can do in vetting the marketing elements of what they're trying to do. And just as important as having good pictures on there is omitting the bad ones.
Yeah.
Yes. I see bad ones on there all the time, and I'm like, man, you just,
And what I appreciate about you, because we obviously help a lot of sellers, list their homes, and I think we have a great relationship. We got a great photographer.
Sure.
But not everybody hits it out of the ballpark every time, and we get the pictures before our sellers get the pictures. And I don't know how many times you go, no, you got to go back out there and do it again, because this is important to us and it's important to our sellers.
Right. And I get it. They looking at the pictures on the back of their digital camera doesn't always tell them whether or not it's really going to translate on computer screens. So there's some grace given there, but if it's flagrant, it's like, dude, you gotta go. You gotta can that photographer or train him up or something.
All right. Well, if you are thinking about selling your home, we would love the opportunity to sit down with you, go through our process, and put you on the right track, put you on the right program for success. Talk about the things that we do that we think are definitely unique and different from what you're going to get anywhere else. Would love to have that conversation with you. All you got to do, and love for you to just pick up the phone, have a conversation with Ryan, just ask him what he thinks about open houses. That'll be fun. It'll be short. It'll be a short conversation.
Yeah.
As far as open houses go. Text the word open to 623-AZ-RECON. That's open to 623-AZ-RECON.